What do you get if you put the fictional story of Days of Thunder and the sci-fi action film The Last Starfighter? Well, you get the nonfiction story of Gran Turismo based on a true story.
Bling, bling.
Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. I am Angel,
Oh, Adan?
where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert. So Gran Turismo, based on a true story. The game is not, but the movie is. And I think you can agree with me that even though this is based on a true story, that there is some resemblance to Days of Thunder because that's a racing story by a small town kid, starring Tom Cruise and Robert Duvall. And then you have The Last Starfighter, where a kid plays a video game and then it gets chosen to save the world. Now, granted, Gran Turismo, you're not saving the world, but in this premise, the hero of the story devotes his life to Gran Turismo video game, which is a PlayStation exclusive, I believe, platform.
Yeah, it's a car racing simulator, as they
Right.
would put it in the movie. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't help but wonder, even at the pitch meeting for the tournament, did this guy just rewatched Last Starfighter or something like that? Because it is a fairly similar concept, but like you said, the only thing really drastically different, this happened in real life. Now, granted, Hollywood, holified, uh, uh, for lack of a better term, the story a little bit more. Still, I mean, it did happen. A guy was selected from a tournament and became a racer.
Right. It was all about like a promotional deal or like something to just get things going with, promotion of the game and how to make racing more exciting, I guess, to pull in a different crowd, a different audience. Now, there's three writers giving credit. Story by Alex Su, screenplay by Jason Hall, and by Zach Balin. This is directed by Neil Blomkamp. He did Chappie. You remember that movie with Hugh Jackman and the android became sentient?
Yeah, I remember Chappie. I didn't watch it for the longest time because it was confusing it with another film, but low key, Chappie is not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Well, he also did Asylum with Matt Damon, and he did also District 9,
Hmm.
all like sci-fi.
Yes.
You also have here starring David Harbour. We know him from the Stranger Things. Also, he is the Red Crimson,
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, Red Guardian from the Black Widow. Orlando Bloom. We know
Mhm.
him from Legolas from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You have Archie Madike. I'm sorry, said it wrong, but he plays the hero.
Yeah.
Takahiro Hida, and he was the game designer of
Mhm.
Gran Turismo.
The creator.
Right. And you have Darren Barnett. He's the second best rider from the Gran Turismo camp. He's in that Netflix show, Have I Ever Never something, I don't know. And then you have playing the father, Digimon Hansu. And then you have the villain, if you will, Jason Trudowski. Now
Yes.
on Rotten Tomatoes, this is scored by the critics 62%, which is still considered fresh, and by the audience, 98%. Real quick, before we get into it, where do you think your immediate, if you were to score it now,
So the audience said 98.
yes.
I would say I was surprisingly impressed by the film. I wouldn't give it a 98.
Well, that's based off like over 1,000 reviews.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
the critics is like 183.
I do think the critics are too harsh on this one
Yes.
for like that low of a score. Even though they say that's still fresh, that's a weird bar. But
Oh,
I would give it like a 92, 93. It's a really good film, but I don't
it's a
need to watch
solid
it
film.
multiple times.
It's kind of cliche in certain aspects, but at the same time, this has happened based on a real life.
Hmm.
And like you said earlier, what liberations they had to help tell the story, I don't know, because I didn't do any research to see what was actually true or not. But I was entertained, and what I saw there was a lot of times in resemblance to The Last Starfighter, where he sees the game come to life to him. And so he knows the racetracks. He
Yeah.
knows what to do. He knows how a car your handle on certain roads. And we saw that last Starfighter, like he has the same thing. The controls are the same that he had on the console and things of that nature. But before we go into deeper with that, I wanted to let you know, I'm not sure if you know this because we did our review on the Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but the mother, not the grandmother, not Nana, but the mother.
Hmm.
You know who she is?
From Blue Beetle.
Yes.
No.
When I was a child in my town, there'll be stories of a butcher.
A butcher?
And not the boys. I'm paraphrasing her dialogue. She's in the jungle. She just has green goo all over her.
Oh my God. I thought that woman died.
No, that's her. Yes.
Wow.
She, yes. Does not look like her at all.
But now that I know the reference, I can see the qualities. Like,
Or yeah,
but I would never. I
right,
obviously didn't spot it right now.
right. When I showed Kim, when I found out, I say, yeah, and I said, asked her the same question I asked you. I didn't say the quote, but I showed her the picture. She was like, "Oh my God, what?"
I probably would have got it with the picture.
Right. Well, let's go back to Gran Turismo based on a true story, which is a long ass title. I mean, why not just Gran Turismo? Now, also, this is our our third review of a PlayStation product or exclusive PlayStation product. We did Uncharted.
Yeah.
We've done Twisted Metal, and now this is Gran Turismo, the next or the most recent Sony PlayStation, excuse me, product to be adapted to film or television. Is there another PlayStation
We
product?
we never did any of the Resident Evils, did we?
But was that PlayStation?
Resident Evil, yeah. Started out
I was
PlayStation.
I don't know if that's exclusive to PlayStation, but no,
Initially, then it got bought and expanded to other systems, but initially it was.
and also Silent Hill, right? Isn't Silent Hill
Silent Hill definitely is, to my knowledge.
PlayStation exclusive? Okay.
You never talked about those.
No. But I'm just saying it says
Yeah. And Tomb Raider,
Is it-
that's a exclusive. Exclusive. Can't say the word.
yes. And those three, yeah, they've done three of those. Well, no, it's not just exclusive because it's also on PC.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I have fun with this. You saw his mind. Like when he was driving, a lot of times they did it with the visuals to his point of view. And I thought that was genius. I mean, I used to do that. We used to do that when we played certain video games. Shoot, we'll play a video game and like our driving game, right? And then we'll go in the street in our car, going to the store, to the grocery store or what have you. And we'll like imagine doing a race. Now, granted, it's not the same at all, but
True. But you want to envision yourself doing those
right.
things and reenacting.
Correct. And the last race they had really is true. The 24-hour, the marathon race.
Yeah.
I forgot where it was at. Le Mans? Yeah. So I love that part because I only saw clips and hear about it. That's that event. So, but to see it in that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
really cool. And the main guy, the real guy, he was he saw at the end, they showed it.
Yeah, he did the stunt work. Yeah.
Right. The stunt driving. But he was also made a cameo in the movie. They showed him.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, because he had the little dreads.
Oh, okay.
That was him. We all dreamt about this one way or another that we get a high score and then we get bounded, we get it recognized, we get rewarded for that. Even like with the martial arts playing Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, we always had that idea. It's like, what if I could really do this for real? And here you have an example.
Yeah.
John, he does it. Do you have a favorite moment?
All the racing actually was really well done. I kind of like the one when the guy drops when they're changing the tires, and the guy he always carry a spare. But it was like really cool because granted, this is like really near the end of the film, but it shows like his talent. Like he just zooms past all the other racers to catch up. He's like, "Let me race my race." And
Yeah.
he's like just going through, boom, 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 going past them all.
Which I'm surprised that he didn't do that sooner, but I guess they had to do it later in a sense to make it more dramatic. Because again, every course that he did in the real world, he done it thousands of times in the simulation. Yes, it's different in the real world than it is in the simulator. In the simulator, you're safe, where here you're against the elements and
Yeah.
against other racers. So there's that element is there.
Well, I took it as
Sense.
he was following the lines. He was riding more safe than risky. Where like he's like, let me race my race is more risk. And he even says it to his father. It's like, bigger the risk, bigger the reward. I do like David Harbour, favorite character.
Oh, to me, he see like again, like the other reviews that we do, like I don't have sometimes there's favorite moments, but there's just favorite performances. And
Yes.
for me, David Harbour has become that it factor.
Now I
He
will
just
say
gra
this:
he just
it's not
grabs your
that much.
attention.
It's not much newer than what he's portrayed.
No, right. Well, Stranger Things, he's a little darker. He's a little
Hmm.
solemn and stuff like that. Where here he has some issues. He has a character who has regret because he stopped before he could reach his peak because of an accident that happened because
Correct.
of his partner dying. That fear just stuck with him, and he could not break out of that fear. Where he would now had to force Jan to break out of that. So it's like, don't make the same mistake I did.
Correct.
You're worth being here.
Hmm.
Besides that, yeah, he just told to me, he just has this presence now that you can't take your eyes off of him.
No, yeah,
He's very captivating.
he definitely draws a lot of attention to him. His line deliveries, instructions yet slash insults. It-
Well, yeah, but
that's
you've seen him do
that's
that in
his
other
purpose.
right. Well, that's how like that's like a perfect coach. Now I remember him like he's done some other things too, like where he has like small parts, like before it became who he is now. It's
Hmm.
kind of cool. It's kind of nice for me to see someone like that who suffers from depression in their real life, able to overcome it or to deal with it
Hmm.
and become a successful actor that he is today. And you have the father and son dynamic. With the father,
The father,
is
yeah, he's trying to protect his son. He doesn't understand what is to drive for his son, but at the same time, it's like a parent trying to talk their kid out from being an artist. Yes, there's potential for becoming wealthy and you well-to-do, and you can maintain yourself as an artist. The likelihood is very low. Now, I'm say artist and like in that artistic field doesn't mean you're just
well,
only drawing, but or an actor or whatever, like a famous actor. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to get that off the ground.
well, that's what same thing for me. Mom didn't want to be an actor,
Mhm.
even though I wanted to. She was worried too because the same thing. Even though I did go into acting and stuff like that, but I had to go to college. I had to get a degree and stuff like that. Fine, I lived under her roof. It was her rule. So, yes, I did it.
Mhm.
But my thing was to go into acting, all this stuff. And yes, I did some acting. I did some soap operas. I did some music videos. I did some motion capture for some video games, which was all great and it was fun. But man, you have to have thick skin. It is tough. Like that, there's so many actors, but not everyone makes it. Now, granted, now that today there's so many ways to get work. There's so many streaming services and all that stuff. YouTube now, you can make shows and develop your own stuff, which is
Still
awesome.
work.
But anyway,
Still work.
yep. But anyway, enough about me. Now,
What about you? What's a favorite for you?
I just told you David Harbour.
Oh, you didn't have a scene. It was just Harbor.
Well, the scene, I mean, it wasn't really like any standoutish moments. It all was great. I was
Did you see the car accident coming?
yeah, when a car went up in the air.
Well, I mean, like you kind of like predicted, like oh, there's gonna
Well,
be
I mean,
something bad. It's happens pretty
well, in
quick.
in the previews, they show him in the bed. So I'm like, when does that happen?
Oh,
And
I
then I
skipped
saw
the
the car.
previews.
Well, I mean, you can't help it sometimes. It's just,
Yeah.
especially if you go to a movies, you can't help it. But when I saw the car go up, I was like, oh, that's what we see later in.
Hmm.
I mean, we do see in the beginning, like what he does in when he's talking to his father while he's racing, and the father asks him, why aren't you following the lines? Well, he goes, all the riders do that. Racers do that. They overcompensate and they'll just cut in right in. And he does it. So you see that it's like not a
Foreshadow.
premonition, a foreshadowing, excuse me, that he's going to do later.
Mhm.
Now, the first crash caught me off guard with Kappa.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
That caught me off guard because that was pretty wicked. I'm surprised he lived. And also the guy who plays Kappa, Joshua Stradowski, excuse me, he
Mhm.
reminds me of the guy from Deadpool and
Francis.
yes, they have that same look.
They do. They do. Like,
Not sure if they're
they could
related
be
or not.
related, but it's the shape of their skull, I'm gonna say. Like, they have the same shaped head. They're both low cut hair. The jawline's pretty similar.
The
It's the
eyes.
yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny. What about weak moments?
Ooh, I know they had to have the relationship in there, but it for all I know, that really was a thing that was happening in a real life true story of it. Mm, it didn't really add too much to me.
It
Uh,
did not make sense to me, especially when he brings her over to I understand the date, but to bring her over for the signing, the contract.
well, that was like on behest of the coach, talking.
Right, but why not the family? The family wasn't there.
I took it as like he had issues with his family.
Yeah,
His
but
father, I mean, he could have invited his mother.
oh, and that too, when he calls his mom and she's like, "Oh, that's great, honey." Like, she's not excited. She's, like, very, like, casual about it.
Yeah. Well, again, that's also could be a part of, I don't know what I'm celebrating.
Oh, the mother?
Yeah, like when he won the tournament, it's like, I won the tournament. I'm going to be racing for real. That's great, honey. Um, what, what, what's the
What
video
does
game
that
for?
pay?
He
What
was like,
what does that pay?
what does it
Well, she
do?
knows what the video game is for, she knows that, but mom, like our mom was like, "Okay, great, you won. What does that pay?"
What was I going to bring to
Nothing.
the table?
Says, "I agree with you," and says the girlfriend. It didn't seem that exciting. It didn't really bring that much more to the story, in my opinion,
It wasn't like, Rocky.
which is a great love story in itself,
Exactly.
but it didn't seem that it was needed. It wasn't like she's the one that told him, "You gotta do this."
She didn't like rekindle his relationship with his parents or his father or something like that.
Well, no, but
Like,
you know, like how, like, we mentioned Rocky. When
yeah.
Adrian was in the coma, right?
Mhm.
He wouldn't train and stuff like that. Then she wakes up and all she tells him is win. He goes, "What? Win." And that just lights up a fire in him. He goes back to training hard and able to defeat Apollo. And like she was his strength
Yeah.
and he didn't have any. Here, she didn't really serve that anything. Yeah, I understand that is their first dating, but in Rocky, they were just dating. And at the end, they confessed their love for each other.
True.
There was nothing here or that.
I mean, even when like I mean, there was a little bit of concern that she had at the races, but it's not like, I don't know. It just didn't
I
feel
mean,
like
I understand,
she had that much of a connection, really.
but I understand at the end, like if she gets invited to the Le Mans race,
That makes sense.
that makes sense. Yeah,
A hell of a first day if that was the case.
right.
Uh,
Exactly. It's like, hey, listen, I know I've been a while. I know we haven't
or
stayed in touch so much.
they've been communicating all this time, and then that's the moment he brings her in. Like it's a big deal. Granted, for all we know, that's the most factual thing that happened in the movie. Um,
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
mean,
Right? Now,
I would just say the chemistry didn't
uh,
feel right. That's the one thing I would say.
okay. Now, I saw this in a regular theater, and
Mhm.
I wish I saw this in 4D.
Oh, for the movie in the sheets?
Yes, because I saw Blue Beetle again because I actually really do like that movie.
Mhm.
And I went to see it a second time in 4D. I was a little too close to the screen and I was laughing my ass off because of what was happening with the chairs, getting sprayed with water, getting hit with air bursts by my ear. It's my first time. I never expected anything like that. So I'm like laughing. As a granted, it's like me and like three other people in the whole theater because of the time that I saw it. I was just cracking up. I was just having a blast. Granted, I had to pee like 4 times because you get a drink that's like 3 feet high.
I feel like that's on you for getting that drink.
Oh, yeah, that was totally my fault, but, man, I was like, "I don't wanna go, I don't but, alright, damn, I gotta pee," and so I will go, like, 3 times during the same movie. Never happened before, but I would love to have seen this, and I, dumbass, didn't get the $4 ticket day that happened this past Sunday. It was National Cinema Day.
But yeah, that's right.
All screenings were $4. regardless of what it was. It was $4, and I slept on it to get tickets, and that would have been a great experience, in my opinion. There's also like Screen X. I don't know if you know about that one,
Haven't done it.
where there's Screen X is like the screens all around you, like in front and on the side.
That seems excessive.
Right, but that may be also cool for that kind of movie. I don't know how they would present it because, that is only one camera for that, so I don't know how they would.
I mean, unless they did it like, because in those kind of simulators, they do like you could use like a 3 or 4 screen monitor and you get the side angle, so it switches to that kind of view while they're driving.
Right, but this is not a simulator, this is a movie.
No, I'm just saying that like for the sceneries of because it does go into that first person view, like
Okay,
they
okay,
can do that.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, like, back, instead of
you will have
film
severe motion sickness.
I had motion sickness from watching the Blue Beetle. I told you that. I text you as like I told you I texted the next day. And how you feeling? Still nauseous.
You
Is there anything else that we got to mention?
I would say, if anything, like this is going to be one of those easy reviews. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. Nothing too surprising, and casting for the most part is really good. I like the trainees as well as the main actors for the most part, and this has probably been the best racing movie I've seen in a long time.
That team event, that camp, it kind of reminded me of also the Kingsman. Well, when they get eliminated, they got to go.
I mean,
Can't
that's
stay.
like any
True.
tournament
Reality
show.
show. Right, but what I'm saying, they had that thing where it's like, it's not all just male drivers, there's female drivers too and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like goodbye, they get a shirt, a hat, what have you,
Oh, the consolation. Yeah.
and it helped understand what happened, if they really did happen in that way.
True.
But I also like at the end, the credits, how they show like how a game is done or a game for, the recording for Gran Turismo is done. They record the car to really get the detail of it. They test it out to see how the reaction is or the balance is in the simulator.
Yeah.
I dug that. I was like, cool. Now, granted, I've done some video game stuff myself, like as I mentioned earlier, mocap, but to see it in another perspective and to see in a car perspective, because sometimes we get in a car, it's like, wow, the detail here is like on point.
Yeah.
So, is this worth the watch?
100% worth
Worth the buy?
For me, no.
I agree with you on both. Worth the watch, not necessarily worth the buy,
Mhm.
but I would watch it again with a great soundtrack, a great sound system
Yeah.
to really feel and hear it.
I would rewatch it like on streaming.
Yeah. And again, for Rotten Tomatoes, 62% by the critics, way too low, I think. 98%, way too high. I would give it more like an 85, right in between.
Okay, so I gave it a little bit higher, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but 85 is a solid, maybe 90. Yes, it has room for that.
I go like this. I am notorious for telling mom I do not watch nor enjoy true stories. The amount of true story films I've seen in my life that I've enjoyed probably can count on my 2 hands, and I do not ever go out seeking true story films. If I hear true stories in the film, I usually go, "Well, that's gonna be a good time I'm not watching."
What about this? Have you played Gran Turismo
No,
yourself?
I tried. I tried.
What do you mean? You did or did not? There is no try.
Yeah, okay, Yoda.
Star Wars. Star Wars. I did it. I was, and it isn't Star Wars. What's his name? It is Obi-Wan. He is Obi-Wan.
Yes.
And this is Luke.
So I rented the game years, like when it first came out, like one of the versions, and I tried playing it. I am not skilled enough to work, and that taught me a lesson. If I was to try to race a real race car, I'd probably be one of the ones kicked out first day to go. I am not a race car driver.
I bought you a driving simulator. It lasted like 2 weeks.
You got me the little wheel and
Wheel, the
and
pedals,
the gift shift.
had a shift.
Mhm.
It lasted 2 weeks, you motherfucker.
Yeah, well, here was the thing, like, that also reinforced the, like, I did not know how to drive. I could drive my car. Normally,
What was your racing game?
my go-to racing game was, like, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Burnout, where you could just crash your car. All games that it's okay to crash your car and still function. Gran Turismo, you hit that car, you if you be lucky, that car will still run as soon as you ding it. You hit something, oh, the car's wobbling, you're losing momentum. Take it to the pit. I'm like, oh wow, can't race. I need to knock these cars out of my competition. I was a dirty driver.
Dirty driver or bad driver?
Both.
All right, guys, that is our review of Gran Turismo based on a true story. Have you seen it? What was your favorite moment? Also, if you have a movie or TV show you'd like us to review, please comment below or email us at talesoftvbros@gmail.com. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm a down.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.